Bartica, and a lot of things happening in Guyana that some of us might not know about. But I want to tell you tonight, injustices is rampant in this country. Victimization, discrimination, and we cannot afford it anymore. A place that X on Monday, and you look at the top of that ballot paper, you must look and see only the palm of the hand. Yeah! And that is voting.
Make them know. Make them know.
And that is voting for the general elections. That is voting for Aubrey Compton Norton and Joretta Vanessa Finance with Ganesh Mahipal. When you go to vote at the bottom, you will be voting for the region. And that is as important as the general. So you put your vote for APNU again, the palm of the hand, for the region.
Yeah.
We got to put this friends farm favorite to rest. They got to go and rest peacefully. And the only way to do that is vote for their partnership for national unity.
Make them know. Right. Yeah.
Could you imagine? But Region 7 is the rich. Do you think we are getting the funds back into this Bartica here?
No, sir.
Or into Region 7 to build us because of the amount that we are contributing as a region to the GDP. We want a president who can represent us. We are living in a region that is in the disputed area between Guyana and Venezuela. Y'all take Mohammed and carry him Putti and see if he could talk to Maduro. Yes, y'all take Mohammed and Putti with Maduro and see if he could talk to Maduro. Comrades, at this juncture of this election, we have the best presidential candidate, Mr. Aubrey Compton Norton.
Make them know.
And I'm not saying this because I'm an APNU. I'm saying this because it's the fact.
Yeah!
When we were first threatened by Maduro, he finally sent his entire family to Dubai, and then he followed shortly and left we in the pocketary, wondering to know what is the next move. We need a president who could stand for us on the international stage and deal with foreign relations and international relations so that we can feel safe in Region 7. We have a candidate who is clean, who has integrity, who is honest, whose name has not been carried with any baggage. And we need to give him a chance. We have the first indigenous woman as the prime ministerial candidate. Comrades, for Guyana to grow, the PPP got to go. And our prime ministerial candidate is a Bartician. our very own Bartica girl, Joretta Vanessa Fernandez. She too is not carrying any baggage. She is our economist who for the past 5 years scrutinized the PPP budget and catch the PPP with their pants down. Expose them for the corrupt, kleptomaniac attitude that they have with the Guyanese people and the monies in Guyana. But we have a chance. We have an opportunity. We have a second time to make it right. We have Aubrey Compton Norton and Joretta Vanessa Fernandez to take us out of this Pharaoh-like Egypt situation and take us into the land of milk and honey. I want to tell you something tonight. Don't take this thing light. Don't take it light. We have a party that has 5 of the races and as an indigenous woman. We have Ganesh Mahipal as an Indian person. We have Elson Lowe as a mixed person. And we have the other guy's name, I think is Jacobs or something. I don't remember his name. He's another mixture. We have 5 out of the 6 races. But when you check the other slate, you're seeing nothing resemble that. One can't bring out the prime ministerial candidate till now. Very soon, very shortly. Comrades, I want to tell you tonight. The Win Party was paid by the government and sent, you know, to do what? To split Afro-Guyanese votes. And I want to tell my African brothers and sisters, don't be carried away by the blue.
No, sir.
I keep asking the blue man to take off his shades and face the Guyanese people. Aubrey not wearing no shades. You could see them on face and you could tell them all lying. But you can't see Mohammed's face. He well dressed in the dark shades. And it is your eyes that depicts your true portrait. No, we face a lot of things in this country. And I want to touch something for y'all. And the thing I want to touch for y'all is the story about Adriana Young. You know, to this morning I talked with a friend. And the friend tell me, Judy, even if I didn't want to vote for the PPP, I can't vote for them because of Adriana Young. And we all must say, because of Adriana Young, we have voted PPP.
Make them know. Right.
Adriana Young is on the ballot. Mocha Arcadia, where they destroy the people's house and bulldoze everything, bury the animals, the livestock and everything. That is on the ballot. These are things you got to remember because it can infiltrate Bartica also. It can infiltrate Region 7. Because the PPP in Bartica are hungry. They're hungry bad. Samoka on the ballot. Or in Boston on the ballot. The Fortune Bay and high price where you go in the store today. Imagine I buy a broom for $1,500. $1,500 and I got about 10 coconut tree in the yard. And I had to go to the market and buy a broom for $1,500. Coconut 2 for $500. Yeah, get real. And the thing of it, these prices rising and we ain't getting no money in we pocket.
Make them know.
But under the APNU coalition government, we got some benefit to receive. We got a lot of benefits to receive that my other colleagues coming behind me will tell you all about it. But Bartica people get serious. Get serious. Region 7, get serious. Goshen, get serious. Falmouth, get serious. Makora, get serious. Etabali, get serious. Dark Pine, get serious. Baidarabo, get serious. Carrow, get serious. Batavia, get serious. Cartabo, get serious. And I want to tell the miners tonight before I go, don't be fooled by the 2 engine where you collect. Don't be fooled by the 2 engine you collect. Because the 2 engine in your bottom house, under your bottom house, and you got no land to work.
No, sir.
And the people that will help sharing the engine, and the people that will giving out the engine, them is the people who benefiting from it. Because after they give you 2 engine, a housing, an impeller, a 10x10 poling, and a stove, you gotta go and buy majority of the other stuff for your dredge to work. For Guyana to grow, the PPP must go. Palms up, everybody!
Yeah.
Let me see your palm in the air. Raise up your palm. Let me see the palm in the air. For Guyana to grow, the PPP must go. Thank you. And go to the ballot Monday morning and vote APNU. Thank you.
All right. And we all know that this PPP government, they don't like do feasibility studies. They don't like do anything. They don't do anything that is good for this country. So I'm gonna utter the same words of Miss Blair for Guyana to grow.
Yeah.
All right. So next guest speaker we have here tonight, coming all the way from Georgetown. He's a man of God. Y'all know who it is? Welcome to the stage, Bartica, Psycho Andrews.
Ready time to remove the cuss. Ready time to remove the cuss. Ladies and gentlemen.
Bartica, how you doing? Again, let me try it again. Bartica, how you doing?
Yeah!
Songman, I don't need you to help the crowd. I understand what they're going through.
as Sharon would say, things tight. And so it's very difficult to understand. You really want to be exuberant and all that, but when you're thinking about all the stress and the high cost of living and the amount of money you got to spend, understand why you sound a little lukewarm. But listen to me. To the 18-year-old that finished school and has been hoping and dreaming to start a business, I am here to let you know that who has been really struggling, I am here to let you know that help is on the way. And help is on the way for poor people in the So Aubrey Compton Norton, who has consistently shown and argued, and it is articulated in his manifesto, that they put people first. And so that is your choice. And I can ask you for your vote, but I'm here to make an argument that our government continues to spend our money on their friends, their families, and their favorites, and at the end of the day, there is nothing left to come to communities and regions like Seven and Bartica because of corruption. Now listen to me. The reports show clearly that our country loses 40% of our capital spending. And if we lose 40% of our capital spending, it means, for matter of fact, we lose it as a result of corruption and incompetence. Wastage, as somebody says. And if we continue to lose these amounts of money, it's the no-brainer that there will be nothing left for people like you. And so when you feel the squeeze, Mr. Small Miner, and when you feel the squeeze, Mr. Restaurant Owner, and the lady that says business slow in Bartica, it is not that people don't want to spend, it is that they have nothing to spend because the government has not made it available to be distributed in your communities. Rather, they allowed it to go into the pockets of their friends, their families, and their favorites. And what do they do with those monies? They fly overseas, buy big fancy buildings, reinvested in foreign economies, while Guyanese are left to hold the burden. And so that is the choice in these elections, and it is very simple. Now, because of incompetence, Bartica, again, I want to give you this example. We look at Georgetown, and I tell people this story. The APNU came to power in 2015. They did a East Coast One Road project, beautiful road project. That road project came in at $6 million under budget, and it came in time. It meant that the APNU government, because of its competence and its care for its people, could have diverted $6 million to the economy to help poor people. But look at the example. The PPP came to power in 2020. They were to do the Ogle Bypass Road. The project was set. It was supposed to cost us $7.5 million for 1 kilometer of road. When the PPP finished that project, it cost Guyana $17.1 million for 1 kilometer of that road. That is a loss of $9.5 road. And if you to 20 kilometers, we're looking at more than 180 million US dollar. Bartica, let me tell you what 180 million US dollars can do. 180 million US dollar can give you a perfect hospital so that you don't have to jump a speedboat and take your sick family to Georgetown. $180 million US Bartica could cause you to have clean running water that you can put your cups and your glasses to your tap and drink it. 180 million US dollars can go into a small business fund that can fund small business and realize the dreams of the hairdresser and the barbers and the small business. From the actions of this government, they have been in power for 28 out of the last 33 years. Let that sink in. People look at the APNU and they say, the APNU, they compare 5 years. I'm telling you, consider that the PPP is the one that was in power for 28 out of the last 33 years. So if you're a 28-year-old, you know nothing else about the PPP. If you're 28 years old and you are suffering and you are languishing in debt and in poverty with no opportunity, there's only one government you have to blame, and that's the PPP Civic. If your business that your mother left, Bartica, that your grandmother left, is failing, because you're invaded by foreigners and there's no recourse for you, there's no opportunity for you to have low interest rates, it is not because of anybody else, it is because of the plans and the policies and the misconception and the incompetence of no other party than the PPPC. And so for me, the choice is simple. There's no argument to this matter. But let me tell you this, Bartica. We continue to have to fight with the PPP government when it comes to giving Guyanese people what they truly deserve. Young men and young ladies, let me give you an example. Aubrey Compton Norton said to the government through his press conferences, he said, you have planned to get $65 for a barrel of oil. Oil prices went up. You're getting 85. That's an extra 20. He said you have $20 extra to share between the government and Exxon. He said give the money back to the people. Give the money back to the people. The vice president stood up when he's asked the question. He said, what is this about cash transfer? It is not feasible. The president came back and doubled down, just like his 5 o'clock meeting, and checked to the journalists, hey, stop this nonsense, but it's transfer. But when they're in political trouble and they realize that numbers don't lie and it's against them, that's when they made a decision to come to you to give you a transfer of $100,000. It wasn't because they cared for you, Bartica. It wasn't because they loved you. It's because they were in political trouble. They were pressured. And so, Bartica, all of a sudden, they're going to tell you that they love you. When public servants want to raise a pay, it's pain, it's fight. The nurses, the doctors, the teachers, it's like pulling teeth. The government continues to say it is not feasible. They cannot afford it. Even in their manifesto now, they cannot even find it in all the promises to commit the public servants a salary increase. Hear what they say, we're going to give salary increases. But Aubrey Compton Norton has made it definitively clear that when he's sworn in as president, he will, at the stroke of a pen, within 100 days, deliver to public servants a 35% increase in wages and salaries. In tongue just like yours. Linden Enterprise Network, a program was set up for small businesses so that those young women who dream of having restaurants, the young men for barbershops, the vendors like this lady here who wants that shop, she could have gone to the Linden Enterprise Network and she would have asked, can you lend me $1 million, a 500,000, low interest rate, soft loans, grant? You know what happened? The PPP shut the program down. One thing they had to do was to install a board and operationalize the program. You know what they did? They closed it down. You know how much money Linden Enterprise Network has for that program? They have 300 million Guyana dollars languishing in a bank account unused. That's what they did. So they've killed the dreams of a lot of young people. And when the finance minister presently was asked the question, he said this. He said people were not paying back their loans, and so the program, they had to put it on pause. But here it is, Bartica, and that's how you people love you, or they love your neighbor, or they love the friend. Here it is. GBTI got people that don't pay back loans, but GBTI never stop lending money and they never stop closing down the program. The same goes to Republic Bank. So you tell me, Mr. Finance Minister, why would you close down that program? It makes no logical sense if you really want to help people. When you look, let's take a look, because what is good for the goose, I tell people, is good for the. And what is good for the goose must be good for the. But here it is, for $300 million, they shut that program down. But let us look, and let me make this disclaimer. We love sugar workers because they are poor and they're hardworking and they're Guyanese and they deserve everything. And we're going to make sure that their lives are viable and their livelihoods are secured. But here's the truth of the matter. When it comes to the sugar industry, the PPP put billions of dollars into the sugar industry. The sugar industry, year after year, continues to lose billions of dollars. The sugar industry continues to be unable to pay back the billions. Yet, the government continues to pump and pump and pump money. If you can do it for that goose, what happened to Linden, the gander? If you can do it for that goose, what happened to Bartica, the gander? What is good for the goose must also be good for the. And so, young people, if Guyana is to grow, if your pockets are to grow, if your lives are to grow, the PPP. That is my argument tonight, that the government continues through its incompetence and its corruption to put your lives under pressure. You look at what the APNU did in their time running this country. 2.5 years and no confidence motion, and look what they've done for Bartica. Look what they've done. 50-something% without oil money increase. Some public servants got 75% increase. Old age pension 56% increase. Look at it, crime went down. Now you have billions. You can't solve crime. People are more poor than ever. Guyanese are languishing in poverty. 48% of your countrymen are living on $1.50 per day, and yet still this government boasts and have billions and billions of US dollars to spend. The largest budget ever, but yet still the most poor people ever. And so your choice is simple. Elect someone, and that someone is the team that is green and clean, the APNU and Mr. Aubrey Compton. Ladies and gentlemen, you drive over this country and the PPP plays us. understand, as a businessman, the devil is in the details. You look and you see the billboards, 50,000 house lots, promises delivered. And if you don't know, and you really don't know, you would look at it and say, wow. But I said, crap. A ton of foolishness. Because here lies the difference. The PPP has a land distribution policy. The number fudge, you can question it, but here's the truth about that. Miss Alga is a security guard. She has worked night and days, leave our children home. Sometimes she go to work with a tennis roll and some black tea, and she throws her box on. Miss Alga continues to save and save and save and have amassed $500,000. That woman ain't buying nothing name brand. Miss Alga took that $500,000 and went to housing and paid for a house lot. 3 years have passed and Miss Alga cannot access that house lot. That is like taking your money, giving it to somebody, they invest it, make the profits, and you're standing here with nothing to show. That is the state of the housing program under the PPP government. But then Miss Alga gets a call. Miss Alga gets a call after 3 years. Hello, my name is Sandra. And I'm calling from the housing ministry. Is this Miss Alga? Yes, this is Miss Alga. Miss Alga, come, we want to take you to show you your house lot. She's all excited. Our dream is about to become reality. She's going to see this house lot that she paid and struggled and worked hard for. Miss Alga turns up in a minibus. They put her in, take her down. When she reaches the spot, it's When she reaches the spot, it's a big screen, speakers, ministers dressed up like if it's a concert, and look at what they say. Look at Miss Alga, this is what the scheme gonna look like. Now tell me, man, after 3 years and all the stress and water, black tea and tennis roll and hard life at night, you gonna tell me this is what look like? Me want dreams, I want reality. Miss Alga wants a house lot. No, you spend billions of dollars and you still cannot deliver it. It's a swamp. But here lies the difference. The APNU doesn't only have a land distribution policy, but it has a rent-to-own program that complements that policy, so that people like Miss Alga, she can get a house that is built and she can move in rent-to-own. And when we tell them about those programs, just like the cash grant, they jump up and say, it's not feasible. Well, let me tell you it's feasible, because I, Psycho Andrews, lived in a rent-to-own. My grandmother, Portuguese woman, paid $18 a month rent. And when the time came, she paid $25,000 to own the home. My mother lived there, I lived there in West Rijnveld. It happened in West Rijnveld, it happened in East Rijnveld, it happened in North Rijnveld, it happened in South Rijnveld, it happened in Bartica. So if we did it before, we can do it again. Together. When you get our money, you could do wonders, and that's the position we're in, and that is the difference between the AP and you know why? Because the PPP cares for their friends, their families, and their favorites, and the APNU on the other hand is green and clean and puts people first. I am selling to you tonight because when I'm finished here, I've given you the examples and you could turn it over in your mind so that Monday, when the time comes, you know to put your X next to the palm. This PPP government has presided over the affairs of this country. Our lawmen leave their families, sometimes has worked in the police force. His son is 14 years old. At a time when his son needs his father's present, he shaked a presidential candidate hand and was transferred to the next side of this country because the government, rather than allow the police force to be professional, controls them and makes the decision. And yet, the same government, when the police already did do all that this government has instructed them. Look what the government does to the police officers. Officer 1 and Officer 2. Listen to me carefully. I'm speaking to you. Listen. This is what the government did. 20 years they've labored, put their lives at risk. In some instances with no insurance, no assurance that if they die in the line of fire, their families would be taken care of. Yet still they go to protect our lives and to maintain law and order. You know what this government do? For 20-something years, many of them has languished with no promotion. No promotion. And what did the government do? The president comes up after 28 years. Now they've decided that they will look at them. You know why? Because they wanted their votes. Because if they could buy out, they could sell you out. And if they trick you, it's only left for the kill you. And so guess what they do? You thought that they love them? You know what they did? They stuck a camera in their faces and asked them to say thank you. That was what they give to them. A 1-month bonus and then tell them say thank you. So I'm making the argument that when it comes to the joint forces, the police force, when it comes to the public service, when it comes to young men and women who have dreams, when it comes to business people who have inherited business from their generations, this government has orchestrated and have presided over programs and policies that have marginalized some of those people and have allowed the rest to not have the opportunity to prosper. And I say to you that if you want your life to grow, there's only one decision you have to make. The PPP has got to go. Bartica, if Bartica is to grow. So Bartica, tonight, the choice is clear. Come September the 1st, palm it up. One X at the top next to the palm, one at the bottom for regional. See the increases, see the blessing, see the benefit that will move Guyanese people from poverty to prosperity. We're done away with friends, family, and favorites, and we're putting Guyanese people first. For Guyana to grow, the PPP. Thank you very much, Bartica. God bless you.
Yeah! For Guyana to grow. For Bartica to grow. All right. Y'all heard it from my brother Saiku. Saiku has been talking. He has been speaking the truth. Truth to power. Truth to leadership. It's about that time. Bartica. It's about that time. And tonight I have the honor again to introduce your very own, your daughter, Bartica. I have the honor of introducing your very own. Another prepared introduction, but I want to say this. I've been on the campaign trail with Giretta Finance for the past month or so. And I want to tell you this. We started this campaign at Coffee, then we came all the way here to Bartica the next day, I think. And it was an amazing atmosphere. We know what we were getting ourselves into, and we were ready to roll up our sleeves, roll up our pants, and get into the communities. We went all the way to the Upper Maz, where we went on boats in the middle of the night, where the fog was heavy, you couldn't see anything. Traveling all the way from Mbamadai to Kamarang. Your next prime minister did that. Y'all ever see Mark Phillips do things like that? Your prime minister went all the way to Latam and pushed bus because it was stuck in the mud. Mark Phillips did that. Your next prime minister traveled for days. Tired, early morning, late nights. She is prepared to lead Guyana. Bartica, I want you to say, Joretta is prepared. Joretta is prepared. All right. Joretta is not only prepared to go down and push a bus, but she has the qualifications to do that. She has the qualifications. She's an economist. She's a public administrator. She's graduated from the University of Guyana, equipped with expertise to manage Guyana's growth responsibly. They get a man that is come on every Thursday, say he's a doctor. She is more qualified than that doctor. Says she is qualified. All right. I want to tell you also, she has served as Shadow Minister of Finance, one of the most biggest role in the opposition. You know, she has to crunch the numbers and fight with Ashley Singh, who thinks he knows it all. You know nothing. Exactly. She was also a member of the Public Accounts Committee demanding answers for taxpayers. Right? Member of the Economic Service Committee shaping policies that grow the economy for all Guyanese. Bartica, she champions opportunity, fairness, and a real support for working mothers. She champions indigenous and interland communities. She knows your challenges because she lived them. So I want you to join with me tonight, Bartica, and welcome your very own, your next Prime Minister of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana, Joretta Finance.
All right. Good night, Bartica. You know, I was standing there listening to the speakers before me, and it dawned on me what is the biggest difference when it comes to our meetings as compared to any other meeting. I want to say to you tonight that anyone out there that comes to our meeting and listen to the quality of presentations, anyone be voting for people that understand policies, and you will be voting for people that are pushing for policies that will put you first. And that is something for you to understand. We distinguish ourselves when it comes to the quality of presentations that we make. Bartica, I want to address a few things tonight. And I came well prepared to address those things. And I want to start off by taking some persons down memory lane as to where we came from to where we are today. You know, sometimes we have a short memory as to where we came from in Bartica and what we went through in Bartica. I see some people walking around beating the chest as though they have done much for Bartica. I see some persons using state resources, driving around in vehicles paid for government work to be done, doing political work. I see those persons and I want to remind them of what was done under the APNU coalition from 2015 to 2020. And it's important that we remember, you know why? I heard my colleague, Saiku, came to the stage just now, and he spoke to you about a couple of things. He spoke to you about Linden and the resources that was taken from the persons in Linden. But there was a very important thing that he did not mention. The real reason why the PPP did not put the board in place in Linden. They did not put the board in place to give money to Lindeners for small businesses because the APNU coalition raised the money from $1 million to $10 million. That is why they didn't put the board in place, because they did not want Londoners to have $10 million in their hand so they can develop themselves and their businesses. They never want to see persons develop. They want to make sure that you will always be in need, so you will have to beg behind them for everything that you need. And I want to start off by saying that, to go into a few things. I saw the PPP came to Bartica, fully peddling all aspects of state resources. Every cent of state resources being used to mobilize. They spent more money to mobilize people for the campaign in Bartica than they did when it comes to development in Bartica. They go out there and they want to show that they're big and bad. So they spent millions of dollars to mobilize people from all the reverend communities to come and pack them up in Bartica to say, oh, look, we have people supporting us. When they did not use the very same funds to go and develop those communities, and those persons are left to suffer, and that is a fact. But you know what was really sad for me to look at? It was really sad for me to look at the former mayor of Bartica, and I'm going to address him tonight. It was very sad for me to look at the former mayor of Bartica, sitting, cowering, his head bent, depressed, as somebody stood in the form of Guilty Shearer, stood at the podium at their rally, and basically condemned every single thing that was done under his stewardship. He sat right there and said nothing. He cowered, presented himself as weak. He could not defend his own name. And I want to talk to you about that, because that is what the PPP presents to Guyanese. They want to bring you to a state of subjection that you will have to beg behind them. Served on the town council when Gifford Marshall was the mayor of Bartica. And he can take what I say as a compliment, or he can take it as an insult. I will let him be the judge of that. When I served on that town council, we did a few things. When I served on that town council, the APNU coalition was in government. And I can tell you what was done, just in case person forgot. We had, under the APNU coalition, Bartica was declared a tongue. That is the first thing. Let us start from there. Bartica was declared a tongue under the APNU coalition. But we did not just declare Bartica a tongue. We wanted to bring development, township status to Bartica so that real development could have been felt. And I want you to remember tonight as I speak that before 2015, the People's Progressive Party Civic was in power for 23 years. The PPP was in power for 23 years before 2015. Running government, deciding on how the monies are to be spent, and they decided, deliberate decision, not to Stelling. You remember that? We started our project at Stelling flawlessly. No work had to be redone. 5 years they came into office. 5 years, trillions of dollars spent by the PPP, and they barely scrape to finish the stelling the other day. And after they had that piss poor finish, what did we have? Vehicles falling off the ramp. We did the stelling. You can go, and I'm going to go through it because it's important for people to remember what we had to do. 23 years, they did nothing. 23 years, we did not get township status. 23 years, they didn't see no need to spend money on a stelling. When you go to the center ground, when you look there and you see those bleachers, you see the basketball court, you see the wall of fame, you see all of those things, you see total rehabilitation that was done. It wasn't done under the 23 years that the PP was in office. It was done in the 5 short years that the APNU coalition was in office, Bartica. Under the PPP stewardship right now, they're giving permission for parties to be had at a community center ground. That is the level or lack thereof when it comes to leadership in this country, and particularly in the township of Bartica. I heard my colleague Judy talk about the disability school, and I could say I can talk very remind you how we got to disability school in the first place. The people had no intention of putting a disability school here in their 23 years when they were in office. None whatsoever. I can tell you because my aunt, Teresa Bratwick, you would know her as Cheryl. She walked every street and avenue in Bartica. She got a boat and she went around the riverine areas and she got a record and a register of all the persons that had children living with disabilities. And she came back and she put her own time and effort, free of cost, to make sure that we had that facility up and running, even when we didn't have a building fit. We then move ahead and we did the building. The PPP came now. Trillions of dollars later, paint the building, and they won't cut the ribbon and say, oh, we. You see, when they say all politics is local, this is what we're talking about. Nobody can come and fool us to believe that they've done anything positive for us, because they did not. If you go up 4th Avenue, as you go past the Mongrippa Arcade, you know what you're going to see on your left-hand side? You're going to see the magistrate court. 3 years the PPP was in office, they had no concern about building a magistrate court in Bartica. We came into office and in 5 short years a magistrate court was built here. The PPP came into office and went and cut a ribbon and said how they care about Bartica, and they put in a magistrate court here. Absolute hypocrisy. That is the PPP administration. We're standing right here, and if you turn and you look at the back, you're going to see GPL there. Well, I can remind the PPP administration of their tenure in office and what they did for Bartica. We had to protest these streets back and forth because of the blackouts that we were getting all the time. I want to remind persons of the PPP administration, they were here for 23 years before 2015. We came in 2015, and in 5 short years, we had a brand new power station in Bartica. We had a brand new solar farm in Bartica. Minimum amount of money. But we had a plan for development of Bartica, and we executed with precision. And we did not have oil money, as my colleague there says. If you go down, further down the street from the magistrate court, and you go there at the bottom of 1 mile, you know what you're going to see? You're going to see a building there that housed the first ever radio station ever in Bartica. And I can talk about that here tonight. We put a radio station there, and we made sure that it was managed properly. We made sure that the information that was coming to Barticians was done in a democratic way. Today, the PPP that never put a radio station in Bartica is utilizing the radio station in Bartica for strictly political means. The persons that are currently working there, I can speak for some because I know some of them. They're very people. But for the leadership that is there, they're political in nature. I want to say to you tonight that when Judy talked about the park in the West Indian scheme, the same Gifford Marshall had sat on a stage while Gail Teixeira said he did absolutely nothing. In the West Indian scheme, the first ever green park was built in Bartica. It was built through the township program that I was a part of as a councillor, the township program where Gifford Marshall sat as a mayor. Yet he had to be subjected to disrespect and disdain to be a part of the PPP. I tell you this, my colleagues here in Bartica, nobody should have to strip you of your dignity. Nobody should have the right to dismantle every single thing that you've done, and then you just sit. We wanted to make sure that this community was developed, and we went a long way as a council. See, I noted a couple of my colleagues that served at the council with me here tonight. And I want to say to them tonight that no amount of trash talking from the PPP can change what they have done when they served in this community. And I want to acknowledge the miraculous job that they have done. Because for 23 years, nothing was here. And in 5 years, we were able to change around every single thing and make sure that Bartica was visible and on the map. You know, when you go into the line, I can tell you this. We started doing the concrete road in the line. You know what our budget was? Our budget was $30 billion for the entire country when we started to do that road in the line. 4 mile to 5 mile concrete road. $30 billion we had to spend on the entire country's infrastructure. Today, the PPP budget for infrastructure projects in 2025 is over $700 million, and they want you to go out and kiss the foot because they continue the project that we started when we only had $30 billion to spend in the entire country on infrastructure. I see persons going out into Agatash, and I want to remind the people in Agatash that it was under the stewardship of the APNU coalition that Agatash got electricity for the first time. It is important that we remember these things. We must remember, because of the young people that are coming out here today, the first-time voters. They need to know where we came from. And they need to know the difference in the lives that they're living today is only made possible because of the work that the APNU coalition put in between 2015 to 2020. Those things are factual things. We had the first ever river ambulance, and I heard persons talking about the hospital. Today at the Bartica Hospital, bucket catching water. The roof leaking. 3 budgets now the people came to Parliament. And I want every single person that stands and put on a red t-shirt and represent the PPP to answer these things. Why is it that 3 budgets the PPP is saying we're going to put about Those are not things that we're prepared to accept in Bartica. I remember being on the town council, and I want you to bear with me as I go through these things because it's important. I remember being on the town council when we brought all the lights and we went and we put lights right through Bartica. And it was such an amazing sight. I see persons there shaking their heads, mothers. Such an amazing sight when it was night and you saw all the street lights coming on. 23 years of neglect under the PPP, never given a damn about Bartica, and then they want to come and stand on a stage and belittle all the leadership that is bending to their beck and call right about now. And I say shame on all of them. I can tell you this, sometimes we have to be cognizant of the path that we took to get to where we are. But I can tell you this, Director Finance, everybody in Bartica knows me. I had no easy life. I grew up rough. I grew up in a very poor family. But let me tell you something. There is no way, no day that any member of the PPP could come to me and say, I offering you the moon and the stars, and I will betray you as a people in Bartica. It will never happen. There is no way that any member of the PPP could come and say, all you gotta do is sit down, be quiet, and let us condemn everything that you've done. It will never happen because I stand with a political party that empowers people. I stand with a political party that puts people first. I stand with a political party that is concerned about the ordinary Guyanese. I stand with a political party that was the only party in after 1992 to 2015, the APNU was the only political party to bring development to Bartica, and that is the party that I'm standing with. How shameful it is for every single person that is interested in filling the pocket to sit I want to talk to you, Barticians. Let me tell you this. The PV administration has a group of contractors that they give real contracts to. They don't concern themselves if these people got a cutlass or a wheelbarrow to the name. They would make sure that real contracts in the hundreds of millions of dollars are given to those people. And then they will come to you because they know that they have neglected you. They will come to you because they know that you are in need. They will come to you and they will give you, and they will line you up to parade you in front of a camera to say, look, we're doing something for these people who ain't got nothing. But I say this to you. You have to value yourself a little better. And that is a difference that I want to talk to you about tonight. When you see us stand here, I stand here and I have a deep sense of pride as to who I am. I know where I came from, and I am proud of who I am today. And I can tell you that when you join and you come on board with a political movement that will empower persons, you know, I have a long list of things that I wanted to go through, but I'm going to cut it short because I think I've made my point. I think I've made my point to the amount of work that we've done, not just in Bartica, but in Region 7 as a whole. Today, what we see happening in this township is nothing but atrocious. If you go to the Mongrepa player field, you will see that the Minister of Sports came. And there's an atrocity that is happening on that field right now. They have done the worst thing possible. It is not development. Barticians, let me tell you. And I want to tell you, we have persons here right now that have spoken to me about the corruption when it comes to the distribution of resources. There's a big difference when it comes to leadership. The palm at the top. But when it comes to the bottom, I want to tell Barticians that when you go into those polling stations and you take that pencil and you vote, you put a nice X next to the palm at the top of the paper. But when you see you reach to the bottom, I want you to do it with a passion. You know why? I want you to show the incompetent PPP representatives in Bartica that you have had enough of their incompetence. You have had enough of their discrimination. You have had enough of their disrespect. And I want you to put a passionate X next to the palm at the bottom to get them out of office from Bartica and from Region 7. You have a group of people that care nothing about them, nothing about you but themselves. They vote as though they Could you imagine it? They parade persons that have no abilities, lacks competence, and they tell you that those are the best leaders that they can find to put upon you. But I tell you this, we are voting them out on the 1st of September. We're not just voting them out in Bartica, we're voting them out in every part of this country. You know, they're very scared right now. I tell persons that people be coming around and they're doing everything in their power, not because they feel they got this. They had their final rally, but they got the final one tomorrow, not because they feel they got this. They're running around like headless chickens because they know their time is numbered. The clock is ticking. On the 1st of September, I want them to know this, that no amount of meeting and bring a t-shirt for me. He said, I can't come out, but could you please stop by my house and bring a t-shirt for me? I want to say to Barticians tonight that from PPP. All the public servants here, you won't have to fear victimization. And you know what is going to happen to public servants? You will be smiling going to the bank because you're going to be getting a 35% increase in your wages and salaries. We are going to be doing things that's beneficial to you. We're going to make sure that you're not paying any tax on it because the income tax is not going to be applicable if you're making less than $400,000 a month. We're going to make sure that we take care of our senior citizens. Let me tell you something, young people. You fool a lot of people, but when it comes to the senior citizens, they can't be fooled. The senior citizens cannot be fooled. They know what they went through under the PPP in Bartica. Good the education system is in Bartica. I can tell you this. I went to the Bartica Secondary School. That's the school I went to. Today, the Bartica Secondary School is at a level that no parent don't want to send their child. The Bartica Secondary School is not going up. They have the worst management at that school, and that is a fact. Children going and then persons want to stand here and speak about how good education is. Let me tell you about education. We left the matriculation rate. You know what's the matriculation rate? All the children who pass in maths and English. 5 subjects including maths and English. We left that at 49%. The PPP came in, spent triple the amount of money we spent on education and got it down to 26%. That is the incompetence of the people. And they want to come to Bartica and tell you that you must throw on a red jersey and support them. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. How can you even think about supporting a party that you know for certain your children will not be safe under? How can you think about empowering people that only wants to make sure that you are lesser house because young people need homes. The PP went into office, and I want to talk to you about this. I could touch on it, but there's some very important things. The PP went into office in 2020, and they moved the age from 18 years to 21 years. When we were in office, an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, 20-year-old could have gone in and applied for a house lot because you're working, you're getting your own families. You could have applied for a house lot. The PPP went in office, and because they don't want a big backlog, they moved the age up to 21. We are saying to you tonight, young people, that age will go right back to 18 years. And not only will it go back, we will make sure that everyone that is earning less than $400,000 a month, you are going to be getting a free house lot. But it's not going to stop there. We will make sure that we have rent-to-own projects throughout the length and breadth of this country. And Bartica, you will see thousands of homes being put up in this region in which you will benefit as young people. You know why the rent-to-own is resonating so much? You know why it's resonating so much? Because when you go and you read the billboards and you see persons have, the PPP have some billboards right now, they said, promise delivered, 50,000 house lots. That's what they have on the billboards. They have paid millions of dollars of your money to put up a billboard of lies. If you were to go to the budget, and I want to speak truth to you tonight, if you were to go to the budget and you read on the housing, I can direct you all right now. Go to the Ministry of Finance page. Check budget speeches, housing. And you go there, you know what you're going to see? When they go and they say they distributed 50,000 house lots, then there's go on the right small print that, oh, we give out less than 10,000 land titles. Do you understand that? You do not own a house lot if you don't have a document to say that that is yours. They have given out, in actuality, less than 10,000, and that is an important thing for you to note. Because we were in office, we give out more than 7,000, and everybody had documentation for it. You own that. The PPP is master of lies and master of deception. These are things that we have to address, but we are saying that their time is up. We are saying that it is now your time as Guyanese to benefit from the resources of this country. We are saying that no more would the PPP have a hold on you. No more would you have to be afraid to come out and support who you want to support. You will be empowered as a people, Barticians, I can tell you this. I can see the long lines that goes to the banks here. I know of the thousands of persons that try in this region to get a loan to do business. I know the red tapes that you face. And I know that when their friends go, they just roll out the red carpet for them to do what they want. But I tell you tonight that time is up, because now from the 2nd of September, when you go out and you put your X next to the palm, you be empowering yourselves for the first time ever in the history for Barticians to go out to the banks. You are going to be going to a development bank, and you are going to be getting loans to develop yourselves with businesses, and you will be paying 0 interest. We will be removing those red tapes, and we will be making it easier for you, because that's what a government does when it is people-centered in its policy development. This is what we're committing to our people. I challenge anyone. I can tell you this, Mr. Norton went out and he went to his press conference and he rolled out these policies. He said he's going to have 0 interest. 2 weeks after, air finale coming up like the copycat he is, oh, we're going to have a development bank. 3 weeks after that, Mohammed's coming up, we're going to have a development bank. Let us be wise as a people. If they could not come up with these policies on their own in the first place, how can you even trust them to carry through with it after? We conceptualized it. We made sure that we did everything necessary. So when this is rolled out, come the 2nd of September, ordinary Guyanese are going to benefit. And I want to talk to the minors. I can tell you this. The APNU coalition is the only political movement in Guyana that presented a manifesto that has in it that we are going to be extending the local content laws to cater to mining and forestry. Putting local content to mining. You must know that is because the miners now go into them and say, how y'all make the APNU planning for us and y'all not planning for us? And I say to the miners tonight that there was no time ever in the history of this country that the PPP administration ever cared for small miners in Guyana, and they're not going to start now. Bartica was shut down when the PPP was in office. You remember that? You remember when the entire Bartica was shut down? We went yellow. That was the color of the t-shirts. Y'all remember that? Because the PPP administration never cared for minors. Never once, and they're not going to start now. I can tell you this, and I can tell my colleagues that are in the mining field. When I say that we have presented the best policies to miners, I mean it. When it comes to making sure that you have access to lands, the APNU is the only administration that is going to put that in place. When it comes to making sure that you are not treated unjustly when big miners come in, the PPP friends and family and favorites coming in, pushing you on side, how can you then go and think that they'll have the slightest consideration for you as minors? They bring in the people that suppress you, take bread off of your table from your children. We are the only administration. We did it before, and now we will continue to do it. We will make sure that minors are catered for. We want to make sure that small minors have resources to invest back into their business. We want to see you move from a lower level to a higher level. We want to make sure that at the end of it, you are empowered to do great things. And as a small miner, you don't always have to stay a small miner. You should be catered for by a government. And the PPP administration will never, ever, 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 ever care for you. Anybody that think bringing two little Chinese engine and giving it to a miner's empowerment, they have not screwed on correctly. These are things that we've dealt with as a community. We understand the challenges, and I can say to you, if you go to our manifesto, you'll see it spelled out. We have a solid plan, and we're going to make sure that you're catered for the business people here that have their shops. They know that before, when you have a big mining company coming into the region, the stocks from here is being purchased to take up there. Not now. You know what happening now? The legislation don't cover that, so the people buying it elsewhere and the shops here are suffering. We are going to make sure that once a large company comes into your community, they will have to adhere to local content legislation so that you, the people, will be benefiting from it. The shop owners, the persons providing transportation, all of those people. We will make sure we give tax incentives and all of that because we care about our miners. We just don't come and talk things. I have given, and I can proudly say that during my time even in the opposition benches in Parliament, during my time from 2020 to 2025, I have given tremendous support to every single person that said they are representing minors. Every single person. I have given that support. And I can tell you now that when I see the PPP go into mining areas, I say, shame on anybody that knows they are no good for the mining community and now want to take them there to get votes. Because after they go there, the 1st of September pass, miners not seeing them back. I can attest to that. I understand how the PPP operates. But we are not going to concern ourselves with what they did anymore, because we're only going to concern ourselves with what is going to be happening in September. I tell you this, Barticians and everyone online listening, we need to get out to the polls and we need to line up in front of those polling stations since 5:30 in the morning. We need to go out there. We need to get our spouse, our children, our parents, whomever. And we need all to go out and line up since 5:30 in the morning. We want to make sure that our votes are cast early. You know why we have to do that? Because when you finish casting your vote on the 1st of September, you have got to become a watchman for the skullduggery that they want to push. We have got to start making sure that you plan from now. Make sure you cook your children breakfast from the night before. When you head to the polls on the 1st, you're not just heading to vote, because when you are done voting, you make sure that you go check, my neighbor vote yet? My cousin vote yet? My auntie vote yet? We got to bring out the support to make sure that everyone is voting on the 1st to get rid of the corrupt, incompetent PPP. We've got to make sure that we tell people, you see this vote splitting thing? I say to Barticians and I say to everyone looking online tonight, we have had every scenario in this country before. We've had a coalition government. We've had a case in which the PPP was in a minority government. We've had all scenarios before. And I can tell you this. What were they able to do as a member of parliament sitting in opposition benches when the PPP was in a minority government? You ask them when somebody came and knocked on their door and said, I don't have anything for my children to eat. You ask them what they could have done sitting in the opposition benches, and you know what they would say? Absolutely nothing. So don't let nobody come to you now and tell you that, oh, it's okay to vote for another party. We have got to unite our voices. We've got to unite our votes. We have got to make sure that when we head out to the polls, the only political party that we will be voting for is the APNU that is represented by the PAM. Because it is the only political party that can remove the PPP out of office. So you're voting for the PAM at the top, and you're voting for the PAM at the bottom. You're voting 2 times. You're making sure that when you're done, you're coming out back and watching to make sure no skullduggery and passing in your community. Bartica, I know we have the best when it comes to persons to watch the box for us, and we will make sure that no nonsense is happening come the 1st of September. So I invite you all to make sure that you are part of this movement, because it is the only movement that will empower you. It is the only movement that will empower your children, make sure that they're safe. It is the only movement that is catering to the business community. It is the only movement that will make sure that the ordinary Guyanese grow in strength, from strength to strength, so that you will be empowered at a level that you will be able to stand proudly and say, I am a true, proud Guyanese living in an oil-rich economy, and my life is going to be reflective of the wealth of this nation. We will be putting the money back into your pockets. And I say this to you tonight, no one else is going to do it. This is the only we're voting for the APNU, and we are going to show this country we mean business come election day. This is not about a hype. We're not following a hype. Hype don't win elections. Hype don't win government. Hype can't govern a country. We will make sure that we mobilize and organize for the 1st of September. The PPP will be out of office and you will be empowered as a people. So Barticians, I thank you for listening here tonight. And I can tell you, we are going to be taking this country by storm, from strength to strength. It is the only way for us to go. You know, when people say when you're at the absolute bottom, there's only one way to go? That's where we are. The PPP has dragged us down to the bottom. So the only place for us to go now is up. And up we shall go. We will rise up as a people. We will rise up and we will raise our voices, because that is the importance that you have in this country. Your voice is important. Your children are important. So let us go out there and vote with distinction for the APNU on the 1st of September. I thank you.
Bartica! Bartica! Well, that moment has come, Bartica. We have been waiting for. Square miles, 10 regions. The man who is going to be the next executive president of Guyana. Ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Mr. Aubrey Compton Norton.
Bartica, good evening. We are engaged in the most important election in this country. We are living in a time when the government's actions are resulting in people being in poverty. We are living at a time when there are resources to get us out of poverty, but the government fails to put the resources in the hands of the people of this country. I want to say to you this evening that our sole purpose is to get people out of poverty. We have a number of measures we will take to ensure people come out of poverty. Made it very clear that it is critical to house Guyanese. And so we have said that any Guyanese 18 years and above who doesn't own a house will be given a free house lot. We are going to give free house lots because we believe there is the land, we believe there are the resources, and we believe Guyana needs to serve its people. The second thing I want to say to you is that we believe that, Guyanese working for $400,000 and less should not be paying income tax. And we will ensure that happen. It's really ridiculous for foreign companies not to pay millions of dollars in income tax, but we burden the small man with income tax. So we're saying anybody working for less than $400,000 a month will not pay income tax. We're also saying to you that very important to the development of you and this country is the education system. We have to ensure that we have an educated population. You can have the world of money, but if you don't have the people with the competence to deliver, we will end up in problems. And so our intention is to put resources to ensure we have an educated society. We have said that we will ensure every child gets 2 hot meals. Poverty, we intend to do everything to reduce the cost of living. We want to see our children in school. It is for that reason we say we will establish a national schools transportation system so that our children can get to school. There's no sense in we have free education, but a child can't go to school. And I want to say this to you. Let us not be carried away by the nonsense the PPP got on the billboards. They have on one billboard, free university given by the PPP. Let me remind you, this government came to power and met free university education since 1976. And it is this government that took away free education at the university level. And so when they say they are bringing it back now, it is not a promise delivered, it's they rectifying the wrong they did. And so we are saying to you, we are going to focus significantly on education. We intend to give every child $120,000 a year, for them to be in school, 60,000 half year. Because we believe that the focus must be on our children. We have to focus on our youth. We will seek to put in every region a technical and vocational training center so that those children who do not achieve academically can have technical training so that they can work and improve themselves. It is no sense having an oil and gas economy, and then when the work comes, it has to go to foreigners. We have to prepare the young people in this country to do the jobs that will emerge. And so that is why country is the PPP government of 2020 to 2025. All the ministers, or most of them, came in poverty and will be leaving as billionaires because they will leave September 1st. I am confident we are going to win these elections. I am confident that we are going to beat the People's Progressive Party. And I'm confident of that because even PPP supporters feel alienated, left out in this process. And so we are well aware that they're in crisis mode. You got to be in crisis mode to believe that if you put a flag on every post or 3 flags on every post, you're going to win an election. That's crisis. It's a waste of our resources. I believe if you go in Jack their house, you might find 2 flags on your head. The men even put flag in the burn ground. It's an indication that they plan voting for them. But the point is, we mustn't be carried away by flags. Flags don't vote. We are saying to you, we have the best policies to take people out of poverty. And that is our focus. We want to reduce corruption. They like to ask when I say we will do these things, where we will get the money from. We involved in. There is at least 30% kickback. You could only get contract if you wear PPP jersey, if you bribe PPP people. Our country should not be like that. Our constitution caters for 25% of the contracts to go to small contractors. We're saying to you that the next APNU government will ensure that 25% of those contracts go to small contractors. We're going to train young people so that they can deliver quality infrastructure. There's no sense except for corruption in building a road, and by the time you finish building the road going. This government's whole focus is on corruption. It doesn't have the interests of the people at heart. They put on their billboards, we build 12 new hospitals, as if a hospital is just a building. A hospital is not just a building. A hospital is a building that has doctors, nurses, other medical practitioners, equipment, and drugs. And these things that they put in there don't have that. A few days ago, they opened the one at Lima in the Essequibo Coast. And a man went there. And what happened? They had no oxygen and the person died. What is the sense in telling me you have $1 billion hospital? Medical services, we mean there will be qualified doctors, there will be nurses, there will be equipment, there will be drugs. This government is so corrupt that the drugs are taken from state institutions, given to private pharmacies or sold to private pharmacies. And then people have got to go there and buy what in fact is their own. That is the reality. And we must understand what corruption does to a country. When a country is extremely corrupt, as Guyana is, it means the money that should go to improve your life is going in the pockets of individuals. And so we are saying to you, we want to put the resources in your pocket. We want to see a police force that enforces the law and enforces it in a fair fashion. It is unacceptable for the rich to be does an injustice to the small man, the police also covers it up. And so what we are saying to you is that we need a system that is just. We need a police force that is interested in maintaining law and Adriana Young. We owe it to her. We owe it to her to get to the bottom of this issue. The chips must fall where they may. My friends, we have to pay careful attention to young people in this country. And we're saying one of the things we will do for the youth is to put them into business. Small business, micro business. We want more young people who have their own businesses and beginning to employ people. A country needs small and medium-sized businesses to develop. We also said we will give limited gold to young people. It must not be a situation where only the wealthy can mine gold and the youth who is just out of school must be left on its own. And we intend to have a just system in the mining sector. Guyana cannot rely on gas and oil alone. We have to take the resources from oil and gas and invest it in other sectors, especially agriculture. I've made it very clear that we want to see every region has a proper agricultural program. We intend to put young people in aquaponics so that they can produce the agricultural produce we need so that people can buy it. The cost of living will continue to go up if we do not increase our agricultural production so that there are adequate agricultural people to purchase. And so you can look forward to that. But we are also aware that once we get that production going, we can overproduce. And therefore, we'll have to have refrigerating capacity to store it, and side by side with agriculture, we have to develop the agro-processing sector so that we can process those products. I remember the days as a boy when Guyana produced pineapple chunks in a tin. We produced orange juice. And so we have got as much as we can find. And when you read our manifesto, you will see an entire section dealing with those. So what I want to say to you this evening is that when you vote in these elections, you are voting to rid this country of poverty. When you vote in these elections, you are voting to ensure that you can live a comfortable life. When you vote in these elections and you vote for the APNU, you are voting for the future of yourself and your children. 5 more years of the PPP and we all dead. And so we have a few days left. And I want to say this to all. We need to go out there and speak to people and encourage them to vote for the APNU. We have the best team. We have the best team. I have no doubt. There is no other political party that has manifesto concluded that we have a good manifesto. And I say this to you. I say this to you. You notice we don't come to cuss out. We come to tell you what we can do for the people. We just allow Barrett every Thursday for lift up his frack and cuss. But we come to say to you, we are offering you a better life. I want to urge you to put your X next to the palm. I want to urge you to vote for the APNU. And I want to conclude by saying this to you. If Guyana is to grow, the PPP must go. Thank you and have a good evening.